Hey everybody, and welcome to Duality 9X, your number one spot for the craziest videos on social media platforms that'll make you rethink everything. So without further ado, let's go.
Usually are not going to be from sewage pipes.
You see this on your wall, do not pop it.
Money!
To be honest with you guys, the best course of action here is to call a water damage restoration company to fix this problem. In the clip that you guys just watched, we can see that this person has something known as a water bubble on their wall. This happens from an excess buildup of moisture, which removes the adhesion of the paint from the wall, creating a pocket of water. The people in this video end up popping this water bubble, but there's a few things that you should know before you decide to do this. First and foremost, you need to know exactly where this water came from. Did it come from a leaky roof and the water ended up running down behind the wall? Did it come from a pipe burst, or did it come from some sewage pipe bursting? Biggest risk here is if this is black water and the moisture came from a sewage pipe. Then if you pop it, you're going to have your entire floor covered in sewage, and it is going to be a nightmare to clean up.
Guys.
With that being said, realistically, these smaller water bubbles usually are not going to be from sewage pipes, but rather some sort of water leaking in. Something like this, on the other hand, obviously do not pop.
If you see this on your wall, do
Yeah,
not
so
pop it.
that last video, or that last image, that happened to us. It was actually... there was a huge anomaly bubble, so in the basement, on the ceiling, and it looked, and it had all these kind of spider veins kind of coming out of this bubble. It almost looked like this bubble was about to pop and all these giant tarantulas were going to be falling out of there. Clearly that didn't happen. It was a water bubble, and we were told not to pop it, because naturally, anytime anyone sees anything big protruding outwards like that, especially on your skin, everybody wants to pop it. But we called a water restoration specialist. They came out right away and they immediately fixed the problem. And it turned out that some of the piping that's kind of going along our house was quite old. And it was because of that, and all the moisture and water kind of built up and just... But it was really cool when we popped it. It was, yeah. Not cool when you're on the other side and you got to pay a lot of money to get it fixed. But anyhow, it looks really nice now. All right. Oh, Super Bowl. Yeah. Oh! Oh! What? Wow. Oh my gosh. The lady's wiping down the TV. Oh, it's his house. Wow. Some people should not watch sports or anything that's live and people can bet money on. That's just my opinion. If you can't handle it, and if you put a lot of money down on the team that didn't win, you have to understand that's the risk that you took. Obviously, Kansas City, the Chiefs, they won the Super Bowl. They beat the 49ers. And you know what? We all just move on, right? There's always next year. But in this case, clearly the guy put money down. He must have lost a ton of cash, and he wasn't happy about it. So what did he do? He destroyed his TV that did nothing to him, and just making it really awkward, right? For all the people that are in his vicinity. Oh man. Yikes. And it looked like an expensive TV too. It looks like a really nice house. Huh. The ball go. Look at the dogs. They're just like... Okay, let's see this again. Okay. And this time it's just gone. That one dog. Yeah, what? That's it. I'm leaving. This game sucks. Oh, he found the ball. He found the ball. Yes.
Oh, look at this little grandma. She kind of reminds me of my grandma.
Wow.
And this is her before. What did they do to grandma? There is a plastic surgeon who has gone viral on TikTok because of his extreme plastic surgery videos. His name is Dr. Kim, although I have doubts that that's his real name. Let's look at some of these videos and react to them because they will blow your mind. Beautiful young woman. I think she's like in her 30s, looks like.
Why did she do that?
Oh my gosh! So let's just show her before and her after photos. Now this is not far after surgery, and you can see before surgery she's a beautiful young woman, does not need any plastic surgery. Now I think she's probably already had some. It looks like her eyelids have already been done. Now in her after photo you can see, I mean, what's going on with her earlobes, first of all? They're sticking like way, way out. This is just unnecessary plastic surgery. He kind of looks a little like my dad.
Whoa!
He doesn't look like my dad anymore. We're kind of almost used to seeing Asian women undergo a lot of plastic surgery, and it's not as shocking, I think because it is so widespread. There was a report coming out of South Korea that at least 1 out of every 4 women under the age of 40 has had plastic surgery. But this is a guy, and you can see afterwards, he doesn't look like himself. He doesn't really even look like his son. He looks like somebody who would be like his grandson. So he appears to have had an open brow lift, which is a brow lift where you have an incision on the front of your hairline. He appears to have had a facelift where everything is pulled up and back. He's had his upper and lower eyelids done as well. Now the open brow lift is a surgery that is really not that commonly done. And one of the main reasons why is because you have this big scar right at the front of your hairline. Now, if your hairline stays stable for the rest of your life, then that scar can be kind of hidden, but not really, because it never really looks all that good in my opinion. But in a guy like this who has a tendency for their hairline to recede, that scar at some point, maybe in the next 10 years, may become...
I just got to stop this this video for a second. Take a look at this guy's picture, right? Take a look at his before picture. And you notice the ears, they don't look like they're protruding outwards, right? Like you'll notice in the other picture, it looks like the ears come out to here. Like you notice that the bottom of the earlobes are protruding outwards. Like why is that? And why is it that in the previous picture with the lady, same thing, her earlobes are just kind of like protruding outwards. So are they doing something to the ears as well? Is this the same guy is my question?
Completely visible out in the open, and the only way for him to hide that would be hair transplants. And honestly, I don't know what they're doing with his eyes because they don't look natural whatsoever to me.
There, right?
So a white guy, Caucasian guy. What did they do to this dude? So unless he's some type of an expat, he literally traveled from the United States to China, I think is where this Dr. Kim is at, and had all these procedures done. And you can see, like the last gentleman, he doesn't look anything like he started with. It looks like he's had the exact same procedures as the last guy, and once again, he's got that scar right in front of his hairline that is not going to look good in the next few years, as his hairline likely will continue to recede. On top of that, his face is so pulled tight that this is definitely not an ideal result, even at just 7 days afterwards. Now, I did some research on this Dr. Kim, and interestingly enough, there's a Dr. Sam online and some hospitals that use the exact same photos. So is this Dr. Kim, Dr. Sam, or who knows who's doing these operations and how these photos are getting put on multiple different doctors' accounts? Okay, now this is a beautiful woman in her 30s, maybe early 40s at the most.
Yeah.
And now she looks 12? There is this tendency in East Asia to overdo plastic surgery. And you know, I'm Korean, so my parents immigrated from South Korea. And honestly, the Koreans are some of the worst offenders at over-operating on people. And as you can see, they're trying to go really for the same appearance in every single female patient. They're all meant to have this kind of V-line shape, higher cheekbones, overly tight skin, exceedingly white skin, a narrow nose with more projection, and fuller lips. And this is what I call the Caucasianization of Asians. Now, Asian plastic surgeons will tell you that these operations are meant to bring out the inner beauty in people, but in my opinion, they're honestly meant to make them look more Caucasian. So the big question now is, how do these patients look a couple of months after surgery? Because you're seeing the 7-day post-ops and they obviously look pretty scary, but things do settle down. Let's take a look at one of this Dr. Kim's patients a little bit farther out. Beautiful young woman. My guess is she's in her 40s.
Whoa.
She's 2 days out. Now 15 days out, she's looking pretty good. And 30 days, she looks fantastic. And she looks happy with her results, which really is the most important thing. Now, I wouldn't judge any of these patients for any of the cosmetic procedures that they decide to get done for themselves. But where I do judge is the actual plastic surgeon who's over-operating on so many of these patients. I do not believe that it is safe for a 78-year-old woman to undergo 8 to 10 hours of facial cosmetic surgery. And so this really is the exact opposite of what I consider holistic plastic surgery. And on top of that, what is wrong with a woman or a man looking Asian? Not necessarily having that extra crease of the eyelid, or that extra thin nose, or that V-line shape. Are Asians being westernized by plastic surgery? How far is too far? I've got my thoughts on this video right up here. And remember, eat real food, use clean skincare, and auto-rejuvenate before you operate.
That's a good mantra. But how far is too far, right? And yeah, there's so much botched work out there. And I'm not saying that these individuals had botched surgeries, but some of it are kind of questionable, especially considering their age, right? Would you make the trek out to somewhere that you're not fully aware of, that like under different medical procedures and standards, and getting surgery done at that high level where anything could potentially go wrong, and the outcome, if you don't like it, you're stuck with it. You have no choice, but you're stuck with it. So you better hope that everything gets done properly. It's like going to a hairdresser and trying to get your hair cut, and you have this image in mind, this vision of how you want your hair done. You're explaining it to the barber. They cut your hair and it's not anywhere close to what you anticipated. But with hair can grow back, and you can go back and you can even choose another hairdresser, or you could choose to go back to the original hairdresser. But bottom line is, it will grow back. It's okay. But when you get your facial reconstruction, or you're getting plastic surgery, you can't just go back and fix it. And if you do, that could be extremely painful. It'll cost you umpteens of thousands of dollars to do so, and you'll be quite uncomfortable for quite a long time.
After filming her latest movie, and fans are terrified. Ariana just filmed the film adaptation for Wicked, but something was off. When she released a new questions and answers video for her beauty brand, fans noticed a dramatic transformation in her voice. Ariana is known for having a deeper voice, but it sounds very different now. Her new voice is much higher and softer than before. Fans think it's because she dove into her performance for Wicked, but it could be something much deeper. Over the years, Ariana's voice was different in interviews than how she spoke with friends. Normally, Ariana Ariana speaks in a deep, raspy voice, but when she's on TV, she changes it to a more playful, babyish tone. But in an interview, singer Camila Cabello uncovered why Ariana might speak like that. She said singers speak in a softer pitch when they know they have to sing later that day. This way, they save their voice for intense vocal performances. But you won't believe what conclusion her fans came to. They think it perfectly explains why Ariana changes her voice and love her for it.
Okay, what do we got here?
ये क्या कर रहे हो? ये देख, ओए हो, ये है कॉपी। अच्छा, ये देखे। ओरिजिनल क्या चीज़ है? ओरिजिनल ये देख, नहीं टूटेगा। तुम फुल क्लीन यार, टूटने का कोई चांसेस ही नहीं है। यार कारी भाई, ये क्या कर रहे हो यार? ये देखे, ये किसका कितना बैग है? देखे, ओए होए, देख ये इसके कलर है मुख्तलिफ। ओरिजिनल बैग, ओरिजिनल, बिल्कुल बिल्कुल टूटने वाली चीजें नहीं है। ये देख, ओए हो यार, देखे, सुहेब भाई, कमाल चीज है। देखे, इस तरह समझाओ। ये तो इस तरह ओरिजिनल है कि इसकी प्राइस कितनी मिलेगी? प्राइस हमारी तरफ से आपकी व्यूज के लिए सिर्फ और सिर्फ 23,000 रुपए। जो भाई हमारे शॉप का विजिट करना चाहता है, हमारा शॉप है पेशावर कारखाना मार्केट, जीडी प्लाजा, दुकान नंबर 456, मर्दान सवाबी ब्रीफ केस हाउस। हमारा व्हाट्सएप नंबर है 0300 595 7390। हमारा दूसरा व्हाट्सएप नंबर है 03।
Explain. So I was able to translate some of that. I think this guy is the shop owner. As ridiculous as this sounds, I know people try to market. People are always trying to find creative ways to market and advertise their products and services, and rightfully so, right? It's tough being running a business, but when you're destroying your own products to use that as advertisement or a form of advertisement or a form of marketing, wow, that just goes right over my head. Why would you resort to such tactics? Does that even make sense? Because now you're at a loss for that product, unless he goes back to the vendor and says, oh, these came damaged and stuff. But I mean, that's being dishonest, right? I mean, we live in a world where everybody's just honest all the time, right? What he's trying to do is to trying to showcase the fact that the luggage that they carry at his particular store is amazing and can withstand a beating, like literally a beating. Now, the last thing I want to be worried about is when I'm walking with my when I'm walking through any kind of terminal, any kind of airport with my luggage, I'm not worried about somebody coming and taking a baseball bat to my luggage, because that does not happen. That's not normal. The only time that would happen is if you wind up in some kind of neighborhood where you know you're not supposed to be in, and people come at you with baseball bats. But that's a whole different story altogether. But what I'm more concerned about is, can my luggage withstand a thrashing and, constant movements underneath the belly of the airplane? Where it counts the most, and sometimes when the baggage comes off, and the baggage handlers are sometimes a little rough at the luggage, and they're chucking these suitcases and all that into your, into their bins and driving it off for processing, and then they look, I just want to make sure that whatever I have inside the luggage stays inside the luggage. That's it. But what this guy's trying to do, I don't know if that's normal where he lives, where people just randomly come at you with sticks and baseball bats and start breaking your luggage. And if that's the case, then yeah, you need to find really good product to withstand that. That was crazy.
Smith. Will Smith had an abusive father who often got violent with his mother. When Will was 9 years old, he watched his father hit his mother so hard that she collapsed to the floor as blood poured from her mouth. Will says he's always been haunted by the fact that he didn't help her that day, and that he's lived much of his life feeling like a coward. The separation of his mother and father a few years later sent Will into a downward spiral. In his recent biography, Smith admits that it was the first of 2 times that he seriously considered taking his own life. Back in 1989, a 20-year-old Will Smith was arrested for his alleged involvement in the assault of a record promoter. He was charged with aggravated assault, criminal conspiracy, simple assault, and recklessly endangering another person. All the charges were eventually dropped, and Smith became the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air soon afterwards. Smith also made headlines in 2012 after slapping a Ukrainian reporter who jokingly went in for a kiss. Later on, Smith told reporters, "He's lucky I didn't sucker punch him."
He also made headlines with the infamous slap to Chris Rock. Anyways.
Down inside, told you they look back your career, somebody lied. I ain't talking poultry when I say chicken fried.
Okay. Okay.
Good morning, America! Good morning, Central Park! Good morning, Nicki Minaj!
That is Shaquille O'Neal candy bar
What?
from 1995. This is a verified Shaq snack. It says we have the chance to meet Shaq on it. I don't know, is it like Willy Wonka and a golden ticket in here? Meet Shaq. Oh, it looks really weird. There's like some weird green sticky
That's the
stuff
glue,
on
buddy.
That's a big old
Oh.
Mr. Big Duke. This looks like it came right out of Shaq's toilet. The man was eating nuts. The man was eating nuts. I don't usually get concerned. This is concerning.
1995. This is like almost 30 years ago.
I can't resist. What's the 1995 Mr. Big Bar taste like?
Don't eat it. Don't. Not so bad. He
not
almost
so bad.
Threw up in his mouth.
It's kind of good.
He did throw up in his mouth.
Alright, chill, Mr. Big. Chill. Once you get over the fact that it's from 1995, it ain't so bad. It's like if you took a chocolate Rice Krispie treat and wrapped it around
Once
a
you
waffle.
get over the fact that it's from 1995, you're okay. This guy just ate a chocolate bar that's almost 30 years old, folks. There is no nutritional value. I mean, I don't think there was any nutritional value to begin with. But the fact that that chocolate still looked in its same kind of form, obviously looked a little mutated, but that's 30 years of just sitting inside this wrapper. Wow. Is this the stuff that we're putting inside us?
Snaps on Biden boomers,
Oh,
telling her to
this
just work
lady.
harder.
Yes.
Well, you've broken the economy forever.
It's the boomers.
You're the only ones who benefited. It's hard to not feel bad for them. Watch.
I cannot stand how the news has been dogging Gen Z and calling them lazy for not wanting to work a 9 to 5 for the rest of their lives. Let me put it in perspective for everybody who's a little confused here, okay? I work 5 days out of the week, 40 hours a week, okay? I do not make enough to live on my own. I would not make enough to pay rent, water, electric, and eat.
We own nothing.
You can sit here and you can call Gen Z lazy all you want, but I've been working my tail end off just to barely make it by. And respectfully, I don't want to do that for the rest of my life. And that is what you created, not Gen Z. We're just here getting started. You've been doing it for the last 20 years. You tell me how it got ruined. We can sit here and we can call Gen Z lazy all you want, but you let the economy turn into what it did. And now it's Gen Z's fault because we don't want to work to fix your mistakes.
Enough is enough!
We featured this lady before as well, and she makes some good points, guys. It's getting really tough out there for people to afford the basic necessities of life, and we talked about this, and I kind of went off on a tangent myself about how expensive things are getting, and you know, really, you're starting to see that divide between the wealthy and people who don't have money, and it's just getting even more and more like the whole thing about middle class. What is middle class? There's no such thing as middle class anymore. Okay.
The girl stared at me and the girl was like, "That ice cream's so black." I regret getting this. They stare at me and they think I just never brush my teeth. I know a way to deal with this. Because I really don't think I can talk to any people right now. I basically became a devil. Black ice cream, everybody. Black.
The earthquake bed was a genius. It doesn't look any different than a regular bed, but when there's a big earthquake, the vibrations will be captured by the bed's high-precision sensors, and then the person and the mattress fall into this big box. All this will be done quickly before the house collapses. The case is made of high-strength alloy steel, and is supported by a number of solid steel. Normal wall collapses can't harm it. The bottom of the crate contains not only a large amount of food and water, as well as firefighting and medical supplies. With side vents, there's no need to worry about oxygen deprivation. The exterior of the box is covered with a layer of fireproof material. Don't worry if there's a fire outside. It can even send a distress signal to the outside world, so that the rescue team can find it at the first time. Meanwhile, there are many styles of earthquake beds to choose from. In addition to the regular box, there are also lifting models, sliding models, double doors open models. Even the gullwing doors on cars are fitted with it. So do you think this earthquake bed can save your life in the event of an earthquake? Whoever invented the earthquake bed was a genius.
Wow.
It doesn't look any different than a regular bed, but when...
Yeah, geez, guys. I don't know about that. The earthquake bed, how do you get out of there? So what if you're trapped beneath all this rubble and everything? You would hope that the bed is emitting these radio signals or signals of some kind, distress signals, so the outside world could know that, you know, you're there. But what if that malfunctions? How would you know? I mean, if you're stuck inside this thing and you can't get out, how do you get access to the water and the food and all those hidden compartments? I wonder if there's like a cell phone inside, you know, that you could like call and, you know, hey guys, I'm trapped inside, please find me. I think that would be better, potentially, but I mean, if there's no mobility and like cell phone towers are destroyed, gosh, but hey, they're coming up with everything and anything. I mean, you know, as the world continues to burn, people are starting to get really creative. Doomsday preppers, you know, people are getting prepared. People are scared. People are scared of what's could potentially happen. And you know, you think about that a little bit, and if something were to happen, are we prepared? Are you prepared? Do you have even like things like basic necessities? Like, do you have water? Do you have paper towels? You've got towels. You've got food. You've got canned food. You got anything? Like, what would you do in the event that something were to happen? And we went through this before, guys, not too long ago. A few years ago, something was floating in the air. People got sick, and people started going nuts. People were buying up toilet paper and paper towels and trying to resell it, you know, thinking they were going to get rich doing that. What a bunch of clowns. Yeah, so anyways, that's all a whole different topic altogether. But listen, I want to thank you guys for taking the time to watch these videos with me. As usual, I appreciate you guys. If you guys like and hear what you guys see, please smash the like, smash it, don't just like it, smash that like, subscribe. And yeah, I look forward to catching you guys on the next one. So until our next adventure, and in the meantime and in between time, don't do anything crazy to yourself. We'll see you. Peace.